Well, we've got the big speech tonight for the President of the United States. It's going to air 8 o'clock right here on KCMO Talk Radio. And we are starting to get some leaks as to what it is going to be all about. And I will double down on the idea that Donald Trump needs to bring the receipts. He's got to show the goods tonight. There's no doubt about it. 6:04, good morning. Happy Thursday. Mayor Lucas will be here at 7:30. We'll have those Jason Aldean tickets at 8:15. And then again at 10:45. Ask Mundo Anything at 8:45. And then we've got Chris DeGaulle coming in at 9. Oh, yeah, Rick Bratton here at 8:15 as well. So tonight at 8 o'clock, you'll hear it right here on KCMO. The president is going to address the nation. And he's going to be talking about election interference from 2020. And where is he going to go? Straight to China. China is where he's going tonight. And according to multiple reports, CBS is the one I saw that had it first. Part of the speech tonight will touch on previously unreported Chinese meddling in U.S. elections. Some evidence shows Beijing compromised U.S. voter data, and evidence the CIA knew about the action and did not share that information with the president during his first term. Cabinet officials are expected to be in the audience during his remarks. Among those invited are heads of the CIA, FBI, DHS, as well as other agencies and staff. Some cabinet members will not be there due to scheduling conflicts. So that's what's going to be included in this speech tonight, according to multiple reports. Evidence that China interfered with the 2020 election to help Joe Biden win, including hacking into state voter registration databases, stealing information on tens of thousands of voters, ostensibly to manufacture mail-in ballots for Joe Biden. So what's the setup here? What's the point of all this? Because I think many more Americans are probably like, they have their opinion on the 2020 election. If you're going to change anybody's opinion on 2020, you better have the goods. And you better bring it. And there better be absolutely no gray area to any of this. Because if not, you're not going to change anybody's hearts or minds. You're just not going to do it. There is way too much out there on this. And let's be honest, you go to a place like Georgia where the state's run by Republicans. They've done multiple forensic audits and there was no there. But if this is about China, I just want to learn more because I don't trust the Chinese as far as I can throw them when it comes to that government, right? I mean, I don't know who would. But if the president's got stuff on China, then you know what? Roll it out, make it clear as day, and leave no room for interpretation. If he doesn't have that, then he's wasting his time. He's not using the bully pulpit effectively. Now, where else could he go tonight? He could go to an Iran update, considering the bombings are continuing and we're basically back to where we were a couple of months ago. He could go that route. He could go to, grocery prices, although I don't think that's getting touched tonight. I just don't. But this is all setting up, I believe, to try to pass some version of this Save America Act that's gotten an enormous amount of attention, right? And there just might be a breakthrough on all of this. And actually, of all people, Lindsey Graham, before he died on Saturday night, Sunday morning, may have been somebody who was setting this up behind the scenes prior to his death. Remember, the president said on Meet the Press right here on KCMO, it airs at noon on Sunday, the president said on Meet the Press that his last call with Lindsey Graham was on Saturday night. And Lindsey Graham told the president of the United States, quote, "We're all set for the Save America Act." The president didn't really explain how. He didn't say the why or the machination behind it. But John Thune spoke yesterday to the New York Post. And he said that Republicans may finally have a viable strategy to pass the Save America Act. So he said that may be ultimately what they are able to do. And how's he going to do it? Well, through basically Reconciliation 3.0. That's basically what the plan is here for the Republicans going into the fall. They think it's a little subjective, and John Thune admitted as much, because they can't pass this thing as a standalone piece of legislation. They can't get the United States Senate to get to 60 votes on this piece of legislation. They don't have the votes to do it. The Save America Act would require proof of citizenship to vote and other election reforms through the Senate. But it's just continued to fail. So what is the workaround here? If they can squeeze it in to the budget reconciliation process. Now, this is a gray area. Why? It's a gray area because it's not specifically tied to anything actually in the budget, right? It's policy oriented. It's not monetarily focused or oriented. But according to John Thune, what he told the New York Post is that it's got to be principally budgetary, not policy oriented. And if the budgetary impact is incidental to the policy impact, then it's usually ruled a violation. He goes on the note to the New York Post, I'm not denying that there's some level of subjectivity. There is. But if they think that they can get something through that's somehow tied to the budget process, yes, very much a gray area, then they believe they'll be able to potentially put it in a reconciliation package. And how might they tie it to a budgetary issue? How about this? Figure out a way to incentivize states to pass or implement photo ID in their states through financial incentives. That is what could possibly make the Save America Act a reconciliation option, where it goes through this process that doesn't necessarily need 60 votes because it's jammed into all these budget issues that just pass on a simple majority. Now, there may be Republicans that balk at this, by the way. It may not be something that has the votes on the GOP side. They've got, a 2-3 vote majority on the Republican side now in the Senate, so they don't have a lot of room for error either. But if there's a way that they can get it done, that's how they see it being possible. And the question then becomes, if they get it done, would any of these deep blue states that don't really have, let's be honest, the strongest elections, would they be financially incentivized to pass or implement photo ID? Could basically the federal government buy off states? California comes to mind. Could you buy them off to implement photo ID? And how much would it take? That's the other question. We're $40 trillion in debt. The idea of a state negotiating with the federal government to pass photo ID, the whole concept to me is beyond bizarre. Frankly, I'm not really convinced it's worth the money in a place like California. I'm not. I know everyone thinks like Spencer Pratt would have won. Yeah, I'm not buying that. Okay, I'm not. Do I think there's sketchiness in some of these cities? Absolutely. But, by the way, this doesn't prevent some of that sketchiness from continuing on at lower levels. So how many of these states actually have the ability to start turning things around versus how much is it just hopelessness and throwing money out the window? All of that is for further down the road, but that is what tonight's speech, I believe, will be setting up. And you will hear it right here on KCMO Talk Radio, 8 p.m. The President of the United States will be addressing the nation. 913-408-7957. And then, what you want to hear as well. That's the other part of this that we'll be weaving in throughout the morning right here on KCMO Talk Radio. Coming up, this organization in Kansas City wants to unionize. Oh, gosh. Just when you start to feel good about a guy, he decides to kick you in the nuts. Unbelievable. We'll tell you who and why next. We'll just miss the start of McGraw's show tonight for that speech from the president. I don't know if it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty tight. Usually when they interrupt primetime programming for a speech like this, Trump's not going to do a State of the Union. I think he's going to go, I would set the over-under at 16 and a half minutes. Maybe 17 and a half, just to be safe with the big guy, you know? By the time he's done getting his little Trumpisms in there and a couple of weaves, we're probably at 17 and a half. So after that, we'll get back to McGraw-Milhaven, America at Night. Hey, he's coming to Kansas City. The whole gang is Vince Colonnese, Sky Benson, McGraw-Milhaven, myself, and Keatsman. Tickets are selling quickly. We're over halfway sold out. We just announced it a couple of weeks ago. Our America 250 event happening at Boulevard Brewing on Wednesday, September 16th. Tickets are on sale right now at KCMOTalkRadio.com. So the Streetcar had itself a big month, right? Because we had this once-in-a-generation thing called the World Cup. So now, enter the propaganda push. Enter the, I'm not being paid enough. I must unionize. That's what's happening now with the Streetcar. There is a push from Streetcar employees to unionize. KSHB 41 had the story last night, and let's work through it.
I'm an operator, and so I'm in the cab. Ding, 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 honking at people if, they're...
Oh, boy. Ding, ding, baby. Ding away. Ding-a-ling.
Sitting on the tracks like they're not supposed to be or stuff like that.
10-hour shifts. Jared loves his job.
We get to see the city like nobody else gets to see it.
He can also tell
Packed.
People love to ride.
If we continue to grow, I think it's important that we have guarantees. We want to make sure that we have consistent, scheduled, some sort of breaks. Our breaks aren't guaranteed.
You have a voice in the workplace if you just stand up.
That's where Teamsters 955 President Jerry Wood comes in.
Oh, okay. So now we got the Teamsters hucksters involved here is what we've got. So this whole story is getting set up by the fact that, as KSHB notes, nearly 700,000 riders used the Streetcar last month, a dramatic jump from 162,000 riders in June of 2025. Okay, so we 5X Streetcar riders because of this once-in-a-lifetime event. Great. I mean, that's fantastic. But that's not the regular. That's not how this works. That's like a Major League Baseball player having 1 month where he hits 15 home runs in a month, which if you extrapolate that over, a 6-month baseball season would be 90 home runs in a season. Obviously, that's never going to happen. He has one great month with 15 home runs. He hits 22 home runs on the season. And he says, yeah, but that month, I want my payday. I want my 25, 30, 35 million bucks a year because I'm a slugger. It's like, well, no, you had one good month because a bunch of guys served you up some meatballs. That's the analogy here. And now we got to get this big push from the Streetcar. Listen, I want these guys to make money. I want them to make a fair wage, but you don't use the month of the World Cup as reason for why you're getting shafted on your pay.
You did a ride-along with the cops once. Maybe you could do a ride-along on the Streetcar. I'm thinking, how difficult is it?
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that.
Because I would go nuts traveling back and forth for 10 hours
I would
at that
too.
Speed.
Hey, I don't envy it. I'll say you that
get to
right
the
now.
airport and ride on the moving sidewalk back and forth, right?
Tom Durand is the guy who runs the Streetcar here in Kansas City. I believe I got his last name right. He has wanted to bring me down there for a ride-along, and we've exchanged notes over the last couple of months. I just really, admittedly, haven't had time. He's the executive director of the Streetcar, and I will take him up on it. I've got a little vacation coming up. I will take him up on it as we get into post-primary season, back into kind of our regular routines. I will get down there because he's dying to get me down there for a ride-along. The problem is he wants to bring the kids. And I don't want to get, I don't want, I'm sure Tom's a great guy. I don't need him mushing my kids trying to find my weak spots and soft spots to, soften me on the Streetcar. I can't have that. So I told him I'll go down there in a professional capacity, no kids.
The girls are going to get on there and they're going to start going.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, my gosh.
She's a real beauty.
That's just too much.
I mean, kids love trains.
I know. They do. All right, let's continue here with Channel 41's piece on wanting to, well, they don't want it, but the streetcar drivers, they now want to unionize.
He plans to represent 70 streetcar employees.
They're growing quickly.
And every minute counts.
But if we're busy and that car's running 9 minutes late, that layover period at UMKC is gone, which cuts into a bathroom break, which cuts into your lunch break.
They want to see a pay increase and firm set break times.
Not many people know that we work for a company called Herzog. We don't work for the city. We don't work for the Streetcar Authority.
I called Herzog's Kansas City GM. He said they won't be answering any of my questions. The KC Streetcar Authority says it values its employees and respects the ongoing legal process. Streetcar workers will vote to make the union official next month. If that passes, then contract negotiations begin.
I don't think it's a question of if it's going to happen. I think it's a question of when it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. When Streetcar grows, employees can also grow as well.
Well, are the employees not growing? They start them at about $24 an hour, which is about $49,000. That's what they're making on average. That's before overtime and anything else. There are health benefits, dental benefits, everything else. I want people to make money. A lot of you are asking on the text line, Pete, is there any union that you like? I can't think of one, but I've been in a union. I was in the broadcasting union because I had to be when I was working in New York City radio. I had no choice. The SAG-AFTRA union. And it was a joke. It was an absolute, utter joke because it's not based on merit. When you get into that setting, let me rephrase the answer. I don't mind unions for jobs when you're putting your life on the line. Police union, I understand that. There are certain jobs that I get it, right? Because you need certain protections when it comes to your life within that union. But even then, I think sometimes the police union's too strong. I think the fire union is too strong. I mean, remember that guy who drove into the building in Westport? And I understand that you got to defend your guys, but sometimes you got to throw in the towel. And they were even having to defend that guy when he had a ton of issues with his driving record. It's like at some point you got to figure out when to cut bait, but that's not what unions do inherently. And it's even really tough to get rid of some people who are, public servants, supposedly. Fire, cop, when they're just not good at their jobs. Sometimes, yes, it does backfire even in those positions. So generally, I'm just not fans of them, by and large. But I understand why sometimes they do need to exist. So I think the mindset generally of unions are not good for creating robust, competitive work environments. I don't. And using 1 month of the World Cup to be like, this is why we need to unionize as streetcar employees, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I will ask Mayor Lucas when he's coming up on the show here at 7:30 whether or not the real play and the real plan is they want to become city employees. Because that's where the money's at. If you can get your hands on the pension from City Hall, that changes the game. And I think that's the end game here for the streetcar employees. I think that's going to be what they're going for. So we'll see.
Ding, 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 ding.
913-408-7957. Jeez. Mark, you're killing me. News coming up in 2 minutes. I'm still licking my wounds from yesterday. I'll explain next. Well, I didn't get it done yet, but man, I got emails. I got text messages yesterday. I got a lot from many of you when I simply said in passing in the 9 o'clock hour yesterday, I need to go get a hole put in this belt buckle that I've got. And oh my goodness. You would have thought I said the most taboo thing I've ever said on this show. I could spend 4 hours crushing Donald Trump, and I'm not sure I would have gotten the same amount of garbage I got from some people yesterday. All I need is a hole in the belt buckle. And I guess for some, it wasn't good enough that this belt buckle I have here is not like, from Walmart. It's from Italy. It was a gift from Kate, 15 years ago. So I wanted to make sure that someone did it professionally. And it's like I didn't want to screw in my own light bulb or something, John. Jeez.
Yeah, initially you didn't mention the part about it being a gift and that kind of thing, so I can understand your point.
Yeah, okay.
However, out here in the Midwest, we simple folk, you got a piece of rope or twine, that can be a belt. So we improvise, adapt, and overcome.
I understand. I mean, if I'm just going out and doing something casual, this belt doesn't always get the most attention, but I've worn the belt for more or less 15 years, and I have done nothing to it, and it's in perfect condition.
Well, I was going to say, I need a belt. Yours is a fashion statement.
Oh, my gosh. I did not expect a literally 60-second commentary to get the blowback that it got yesterday. I was really looking to just get a shout-out to a small business owner who, does some leather work or something, and it ends up with me getting roasted by half the audience on the show.
Yeah, suddenly it turns into an episode of King of the Hill. We're all out by the dangle fence there.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, anyway, I got to get it done. Haven't done it yet, but I appreciate many of you wanting to give me a hard time over it. I can take it, okay? Anything that you give me a hard time over here is not even close to what I get to when I walk in my own house. Lovingly. But listen, you got 3 daughters. I mean, Mark does, but I guess every age is different. Every age has its pros and cons. But right now, man, I feel like I'm taking the brunt of it. It's brutal.
You are just the distribution manager there, right?
Oh,
all the problems come to you.
And not just distributing things, but also the distribution of emotions and who's handling whose tears.
Fairness.
And yes, oh my gosh, it's just so much different than boys. It really is.
Of course, as we say, there's one thing worse than being talked about.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Not being talked about.
That's a good point there, John. It is. Now, I got to give credit. This World Cup yesterday, the last couple of days, great semifinals. But yesterday, all-time game, Argentina coming back to beat England 2-1. Is there a sports analogy that you could make? I mean, this is not the Patriots coming back to beat the Falcons where they're down 28-3. I mean, it was a 1-0 game, so it's not 28-3. But the way that they scored those 2 goals as late as they did, right? That's what makes this a wild game yesterday.
Maybe like the Chiefs' first Super Bowl that they won.
Okay.
Things like that.
Okay. All right. That's a good analogy. What, down 10 points in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I was going to say there's a comparison seemingly with a team. When you have one of the great ones, you can afford those types of performances, and they're so exciting when they happen, but sometimes they run out.
Yeah. I mean, that was unbelievable yesterday.
They've done it twice in the tournament.
So now it's going to be Argentina and Spain on Sunday in New Jersey for this World Cup final. And I guess, I don't know if Argentina's coming back to River Market. They've been base camped right here in Kansas City. I don't know if they're just going right up to New York. Do we know if they're done in Kansas City?
I think they're done now.
Okay, so they're done here.
I believe England's coming back because they have a third place.
They returned
game
last night.
Okay, so they got to pack their bags, go back to New Jersey for the finals, but England's back here. They're playing in a third-place game. By the way, does that third-place game have any juice on Saturday?
Oh, man, I'm telling you, the kiss your sister dance there.
It's really...
Nobody cares.
I don't get
The
it.
2 countries don't like each other. Neither one of them want to be there.
Yeah.
You get testy.
That's France and England in the third-place game on Saturday, the finals on Sunday. And by the way, there's all these wildfires up in Canada right now that are impacting the East Coast in a major way. They've got horrible, horrible air quality right now. So I don't know how that's going to impact, especially the finals on Sunday, which is being played in New Jersey in an outdoor stadium at MetLife where the Jets and the Giants play. So it's just something to watch. I mean, you've got the best soccer players on the planet, and there's just this fog and this smog that's sitting on top of the entire Northeast right now because they've got these wildfires happening up in Canada. So there's no way they move or adjust the game. I just can't possibly see that happening. But if you're a diehard soccer fan, it is something to keep an eye on. Now, I got to give Mark credit because Mark showed us a post of his on X from 2 years ago. Mark dug up a 2-year-old X post And, Mark, you predicted this World Cup championship 2 years ago. Why don't you share what you posted and the date that you posted it, please?
Yeah, July 14th, 2024, I said you could do a futures bet, Argentina versus Spain in the World Cup finals.
Wow.
Eye emoji.
Literally almost 2 years ago to the day.
Mm-hmm.
That was July of 24. I mean, most people are talking about how Trump just got shot in the ear, and Mark's like doing World Cup futures bets, 700 days in advance. That sounds about right.
What he's working on now.
Yeah.
Which they wouldn't let you actually do that bet at the time. I remember I kind of looked into it, and they're like, oh, you have to figure out if they're going to actually qualify for the World Cup and what group they're going to be in and all that.
So you couldn't even do that?
No, not 2 years
ago. That was
ago.
really a wild shot, yeah.
But, hey, man, that's a great job by you. That's impressive. And then got to give your wife some credit as well. Did she pick Spain or Argentina?
So when we first launched the FanDuel in Missouri,
yes,
we went over across state line, and they had just announced the group stages. So we did our NFL free pick bet, and then we also put money on teams for the World Cup. And she picked Argentina and Spain.
Wow!
And I picked France and Netherlands. Womp womp.
Okay, hey, you weren't far off with France. But look at that. You got the wife smoking you on the sports betting.
I know. I'm fine with it, though. She'll get the money, and it's fine.
Yeah, well, yes, it all goes to the same bucket, all right? But still, that's impressive, man. 2 years ago, you're tweeting. Now, I will say, you're tweeting to other radio hosts in Kansas City, which kind of upset me. But you're tweeting to other radio hosts in Kansas City on the sports side about, World Cup futures bets 2 years ago. And you nailed the finals, Argentina versus Spain. That is wild. If you're not hanging around this fall for Fridays when Mark gives a parlay on this show tied to the Chiefs games, you are missing out on free money getting put right into your back pocket. It's unbelievable.
College pick'em program.
Yes.
Sunday sharps, everything. It's going to be back.
It is absolutely going to be back. No doubt about it. Now, Mayor Q is feeling himself right now. I don't know if have you seen this trend on social media where people do like their little Netflix documentary sit down? Have you seen that? Everyone's like doing their own. I saw Dave Ramsey team do this. Mayor Lucas is doing this. It's kind of this thing where, how every Netflix documentary has that same little intro, that little instrumental? And if you pull it up, Mark, on YouTube, the Netflix documentary instrumental, everyone's going to know it. And then what they do is when they're doing a documentary, everybody kind of they come off the screen, enter the screen, sit down in a chair with this little Netflix instrumental playing in the background. So people are playing off of that. Like Dave Ramsey's daughter, Rachel Cruz, did a sit down, and it's just a social media kind of craze that's happening right now. And yes, there it is. It's actually brilliant. And it's getting Netflix a lot of added publicity because they definitely need more of that, right? But Mayor Lucas posted this on social media yesterday, and it's him sitting down in his office with that little Netflix backdrop going. And it reads here, me sitting down for the Netflix documentary about the smallest host city that pulled off 6 World Cup matches. He writes here, breaking, local city gets global matches, does better than every other market. So he's feeling himself right now. There's no doubt this World Cup has been good for Kansas City, right? But we can't overlook the fact that we had multiple mass shootings as well in the last few weeks. One on the interstate. You had the one at, 18th and Vine. You have complaints here coming through Tony's Kansas City that KCPD ghosted neighborhoods and left them to rot while they played nanny for FIFA. So there are complaints coming from the folks. Real, legitimate complaints coming from the folks. But the city's putting a very positive spin on things. And I'm not here to say that they shouldn't to some degree, okay? That's partially their job. But just like the Trump administration, you don't want to get cocky about this stuff because the second you get cocky, you're going to get brought back down to earth. So we'll recap that. We'll talk about it with Mayor Lucas here on KCMO at 7:30. And I also got to ask him about the streetcar unionizing and if they really just want to be city employees, because I don't think that story's going away either.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm surprised that, honestly, this wasn't already happening. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, Secretary of Defense, whatever you want to call him, he made the announcement yesterday that if you are serving and you're over the age of 30, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to test you for testosterone. They're going to test your T levels. And people were like, gosh, some people are just looking for any reason to complain. I don't get it. Here he was yesterday.
But while we invest heavily in our weapon systems, platforms, and gear, our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage, which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance, your resilience, and your long-term health. And to meet that commitment today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best. Because it's well-established science that as we age, testosterone levels often naturally drop.
It's a fact. And by the way, as I said on social media yesterday when I saw this story, the guy should be using Heartland Men's Health here in Kansas City with 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North KC. That's my recommendation to Pete Hegseth. All right? I mean, when I hear from the guys in Kansas City who are going there, they're having great results. Now, I went there, got my T tested, and they said, whoa, Pete, yours is a little too high. So, they were blown away. But I understand it does happen to guys as they age. So it makes sense. You've got, and you want to have the best military on the planet. Well, you know what? What's wrong with this? I mean, some people just want any reason to complain about something that's going on with the administration. And the problem then is they become the boy who cried wolf. Like, there might be a reason to complain coming out of tonight's speech that's going to air at 8 p.m. on KCMO. I don't know. The reports are there's going to be stuff about China meddling in the 2020 election. I hope if that's where they go, Trump brings the receipts, he brings the goods. There's no gray area. There's no debating it. It's clearly black and white. All right? If he doesn't do that, I think he's just going to create more chaos than it's worth. But Pete Hegseth saying, hey, we're going to test the troops for testosterone deficiency. Well, why not? Heck, I might start doing that on this show. Come to think of it, I think that's a damn good idea. Mark's flexing right now on the other side of the glass. John just took a bite of his Oreo. So, 2 different approaches to the whole thing. Mark, I gotta see you hit that weight room, though. I really do. I want to make sure those T levels are where they need to be, okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Got my membership over there at the Olathe Community Center.
All right.
So let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's see those bicep curls in full form. I want to see it. It's like, man, troops under 30 can volunteer to be tested, but those over 30 are going to be required to be tested. Now, I'll add this as well, because some people were like, I don't even know where this stuff comes from. I really don't. But some people, when they were talking about this, and I got this in my mentions too. Oh, Pete, you're now advocating for gender-affirming care. What? No, here's the difference. I only want dudes, okay? I just want guys to have the proper levels of testosterone. That's it. Now, women actually do create testosterone. That's apparently becoming a thing where some women are using low levels of testosterone to try to help themselves stay fit and, grow a little bit of muscle and do all that. But that's not the same as putting little Susie on testosterone to make her a boy, okay? These are 2 very different conversations. I know everyone wants to have that gotcha moment, but that ain't it, okay? Now, speaking of gotcha moments, did you hear Chuck Schumer yesterday on the Senate floor? Oh, my gosh. Chuck Schumer, of course, the leader of the Democratic Party in the United States Senate. Well, he beefed.
He may have had some bad salad.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, but it didn't go well for Chuck Schumer getting caught on the hot mic farting.
The American people need to know, of course, how and why this chaos is spreading through their streets, and we need a complete investigation that's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration can say about his disastrous war with Iran is that Vietnam was worse.
And you can tell if you watch the video, he looks up and he has this awkward look on his face.
Like, whoopsie.
And then he picks up his cadence on the back end as if he's somehow going to drown out what just happened by talking a little faster and a little louder and a little more pacing to his speech. No, Chuck, we all heard it, okay?
Now on Iran and the NDAA.
No, everyone heard it, Chuck. Jeez, John.
I've got an idea on the filibuster.
Well, I'm glad they're passing something in the Senate because there's not much else. Jeez.
Between that and the people are aroused, I mean.
I know. It's just he's something else. Put Chuck Schumer in front of the microphone and wow, he's just.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
He is absolutely out of control.
Clearly eating off of his own barbecue grill.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now on Iran and the NDAA.
He just unbelievable. And that may have been more than just a fart, man. I'm telling you. He should have been wearing one of those masks. All right? Because he had to check on that one after the fact. That's not good.
That was loud.
It was loud and it was more going on there than I think just a little toot. And we'll get to that just after the 8 o'clock news here on KCMO Talk Radio. But last night was, without the World Cup, probably the most dead sporting day of the year. And what they do last night is they air this award show called the ESPYs. ESPN put it together. It was actually a very good marketing idea all those years ago. Kind of have an awards sports ceremony on the day of the year when there are no sports to be had because baseball all-star break's going on, games get back underway today, and away we go. So last night, the Savannah Bananas did a little performance at the ESPYs. I won't play the whole thing, but, these guys kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, but their games are not predetermined in terms of the outcome. It's entertainment, it's baseball, it's a little bit everything, but it's also wildly popular. They were at the K, was it last summer? They did something here
they
in
were here
Kansas?
this summer.
This summer,
a couple of weeks ago.
That's right.
Two sold-out deals.
Yeah, they sold out the K twice. They're wildly popular when they go around the country. And people were roasting them last night because they did a little song and dance during the ESPYs, but it's like, I don't know, their popularity kind of tells its own story, but here they were last night. Just a little bit of this.
New York City, give it up for the Savannah Bananas!
Follow the lights to a time that you won't want to end. Don't try to fight when the gravity's pulling you in. Starts with a spark, then it burns to a flame. Oh, it rattles your bones and it runs.
By the way, are these guys lip syncing? Do we think? Are they lip syncing or are they actually singing?
I think they actually sing.
Okay, all right.
Probably to a track, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a track there. They may be singing, but
yeah, they're singing to a track.
That's not what you're hearing.
Yeah. So they're not like the greatest baseball players in the world. They're not the greatest singers in the world. They're entertainers. They do a little bit of everything. And they sell out every stadium they go to. I saw some sports fans being like, this is so lame. Well, it's really not intended for the diehard guy who's watching 120 baseball games a year. It's kind of for the TikTok crowd. And guess what? It's working. Like, I am never one to sympathize with or for ESPN. It's not something I've ever been interested in doing. I've got a lot of criticism of ESPN. But putting the Savannah Bananas in to do a little song and dance, trust me, far from their worst idea. So this viral story, you may have seen the video coming out of the weekend. Yellowstone, there was this bison up there that threw a guy 8 feet in the air. It went, I mean, it's been seen by hundreds of millions of people. Now, the guy wasn't doing anything wrong necessarily. He wasn't one of these fools who goes up to a park and is like, let me go pet the bison. Like, it just kind of unfolded very quickly. But a guy caught video of this dude being launched 8 feet in the air by this bison. He was seriously injured. He survived, thank goodness. But yesterday, TMZ reported, and Fox News obviously picked it up here. I'm reading this from Fox, that the bison will not be euthanized after park officials confirmed the wild animal will remain in the park despite the shocking encounter. So Yellowstone officials saying no management action. That is, I think that's the right move. I'm not sitting here as some sucker for animals, although I don't like the bison meat. I've tried it on burgers. Not a big fan of the bison burger. Just give me good old-fashioned, Kate likes 90-10, 85-15. I like 80-20. That's just my thing. But I like bison as an animal. I don't think this animal deserved to be euthanized over that encounter. I don't. I'm glad they didn't do it. They would have turned this bison, I don't know if he had a name, but they would have turned him into Harambe.
Yep.
That's what he would have turned into.
Yeah, I think it's the right call, too. There were warning signs that buffalo was running around, throwing up dust and things, and that's your warning to move away.
Mm-hmm.
They run 40 miles an hour. I'm my age and that guy's age, they run like 10. Maybe. Tyreek Hill goes 22.
Yeah.
He's burning it down the field. So
Bison get up to 40 miles an hour?
40 miles an hour. So remember your knife thing?
Yeah.
With the police? They closed that gap like that, and that's unfortunately what that guy found out.
I did not realize, John, you taught me something this morning. 40 miles an hour on the bison.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, that's moving, man. That's smoking.
You're not outrunning one.
Yeah. You think you're getting up to 10 miles an hour?
I don't think I can hit 10.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I'm saying, I remember him saying Tyreek was hitting 22 miles an hour one time on the NFL game.
We should all do a race here, see who can get the fastest, hit the highest end speed. Yeah.
You've got those little speed limit signs in neighborhoods that are run by solar panels, and you see people streaking by them as fast as they can.
Get to 8 miles an hour. Guy looks like he's going 20, but he's going 8 miles an hour.
10.2.
Yeah, who's blowing out the first hamstring too? That's what I want to see. Unbelievable. But, Harambe was the gorilla from the Cincinnati Zoo that they ended up euthanizing. And he became like a kind of this cultish figure. It was the summer of 2016 because I remember we didn't have kids yet. We were still living back east. We were actually, going out and doing things that people do when they don't have kids in their 20s. And Harambe was like this cultural figure that would randomly start getting chants in the bars at like 1 o'clock in the morning. There would be chants for Harambe. And it feels like a different lifetime ago, but yeah, it was the summer of 2016. So thankfully, we don't have Harambe 2.0 with the bison. He's going to live. I'm happy about that for him. I think it's the right move for Yellowstone as well. So good on them. Because, by the way, the protests up there would have been bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone would have moved from Minneapolis over to Yellowstone. That's what would have happened.
Ding, 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 ding.